Greetings. I'm Maxine Thomas, the author-designer of Country Primitive series of books and packets. I'm from Camas, Washington, originally from Provo, Utah. I'm a travel teacher, and as I teach around the country and out of the country, my focus is technique. And there's a reason for that. When I was an oil painter many years ago, I was able to have the time to spend on the shape of things and the dimension or depth of things in my design. When I became an acrylic teacher, and painter and teacher, I had an edge-dependent look about my work. Things were definitely different, and I didn't have the shape that I wanted in my designs, and I couldn't put the placement that I used to. So, Lowell Cornell helped develop this brush for me. It's a mop brush, and it's made of goat hair. It's wonderful, and it helps me be able to have the confidence to put paint anywhere I want, to walk it out if need be, and to pretty much be in charge of what I want to do. Also, I'm going to demonstrate this little foamy brush. It's kind of a quirky little brush, but it has a lot of uses, and I'm going to help you know what they are. When I first took my acrylic class, my teacher taught me to float color. She taught me to put my brush down, press, and float right against the line, trying to keep it all uniform from top to bottom. I floated in a corner from top, pulled in, let it dry, and either went out of the corner or into the corner. When I followed directions in a pattern, I would float exactly the way they told me, under the hat, under the scarf, under the vest, and so forth. I would look at my piece and my floats would be okay, so I figured it was fine until I started realizing that this is all very edge dependent. Shape following floats just aren't very attractive, and they aren't as realistic as I would like to have my work. This is more the way I would like to have it. And I would need to have a way of accomplishing this. We need to be able to raise our edges, to be able to put things darker where they need to be darker, to be able to walk out our color at corners so that we don't have that edge-dependent look. And when we follow directions in a packet, we need to understand that when we have to have shape happen, that we need to drop edges or raise edges as need be in order to make that shape happen. We also need to have the ability to put color right in the middle of something without the harsh edge around it. So I set out to find a way to do that and a brush to do that, and Lowell Cornell helped me out by developing this mop brush for me. This is made out of goat hair. It's a very good brush, and it works well for the method that I use. Technique is very important. You can have all the color theory in the world, but if you don't know how to put it on your board, you're kind of going to be in a problem, going to have a problem. So I'm going to go first brush for just wetting the surface. I use the barrier of water so that I can have a little quicker drying time, but I need that barrier in order to have my mop brush do its job. You're going to glisten the surface. Nothing's going to be standing. If you raise your board, nothing's going to be rolling down the board. Second brush is for floating color. Now, I don't have much water in this brush for floating. I like to have paint there so that I can do more on my piece. You're going to press your paint through your brush so that there's really quite a wide graduated color there. When you go to your piece, you don't have to press and pull. You're going to pat on that surface of water, and you can press where you want color stronger, and when you want to have it a little softer and walk out color, you just lift up on the pressure. And see how I'm not worried about those little choppy marks that I'm making. That's what my mop brush is all about. I'm just going to gently pat those little marks and any water edge that I have. That will take all that away and make everything all smooth. Now, you always want to go from water line into paint. It's when we have our paint dry, perhaps the water line will be there. That's not very attractive. Also, we don't want to take the strong paint away. We want to leave that there. Okay, once again, first brush is for wetting the surface. It's a glisten of water. Second brush is for floating color. Here again, I'm just going to walk out this corner so that I have that softness at the corner like we like, and then you can come back in a straighter line. As long as you have that water barrier there, your mop brush can do its job. Always from the water edge first, and then gently into stronger paint. Now I need to be able to put highlights in the middle of something. And the old way was edge dependent also, because we did a back-to-back float, which kept that line in the center edge dependent. When I put a highlight in the middle of something, it's the same method. I'm going to dampen the area with a glisten of water. And I'm going to go into my paint and prepare both front and back, so that I can tap in the color back to back. Pat, 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 turn the brush over and do the same thing. No press and pulling, making that center strong, and then mop all the way around. Your mop brush is going to start collecting paint, collecting color. And so you want to check it out every once in a while. That's the beauty of this mop, is it has white hair, so you can see when it starts to get paint on it, and it's easy to clean. You're going to go to your paper towel, and where you have a little bit of moisture there, you're just going to scrub the mop brush gently and then go to a dry place to get any moisture out. This brush is always used dry. It doesn't go in your paint water or your coffee or your mouth or anything. It's used dry, and so when it starts collecting paint or water, be sure and scrub the moisture out. This brush comes in 5 sizes. Series 270, Maxine's mop. They made 5 sizes, so when you have big floats, you use your bigger brushes, you use your bigger mop. And if you're going into smaller designs, you don't want to use a great big mop because you'll spread the color, so you go into a smaller mop. They help me be the kind of painter I am, and I hope you'll give them a try and see how they work for you. There's another brush I want to show you. This is called a foamy brush. It's a quirky little brush that helps me do a lot of little things. One of them, whenever I have the edge of something, I want to make it a different color. This brush works wonderful for that, especially on the ones that have a curved edge. I'm going to take this brush and just sit it down in the paint, and that leaves the paint on the foam, but I need to squish that in. Don't leave it standing on the top of the brush. And then gently, don't press hard or you will push the paint, press the paint over the edge. So just gently curve. And it leaves a nice straight edge on a curved object. Also, if you wanted to do it this way, you could do it this way also, and it doesn't go over the edge that way. Another use for this little brush is whenever I'm doing a taped band on an object, I just set the brush down, and it sets the paint between the tape and does not force it under like a brush does when you go back and forth. So then you don't have that ugly leakage underneath the brushes. So, that's a lot of little uses. This brush is a Series 271. All of these brushes have purple handles, which make them magic. I hope you'll look up the Lowe Cornell website and see them there. Give them a try. They help me be the painter I am, and I hope that you will be able to find them useful also. Thank you for listening.